I told my son his dad wasn't dead. For 14 long years, I'd carefully maintained that lie. Showed him the same grave every single Father's Day. Let him write heartfelt letters to a headstone that actually belonged to a complete stranger. Watched him struggle with genuine grief for a man who was actually alive and living comfortably 3 states away with a completely different family. His father didn't die in any accident. He simply left, walked out when our son was only 8 months old, completely cleaned out our joint savings account, and told me directly he'd never actually wanted to be a parent in the first place. He said if I ever tried to make him pay child support or be involved in any way, he'd make my life miserable in ways I couldn't possibly imagine. I was 22 with absolutely no money and no real support system, so I believed every threatening word. When my son got old enough to start asking questions about his father, I completely panicked. The truth felt far too cruel for a child to handle. How do you tell a little boy that their own father actively chose to abandon them, that they simply weren't wanted? So I invented a completely different story instead. A tragic car accident on a rainy night, a funeral he was too young to remember attending, a hero dad who would have loved him endlessly if only cruel fate hadn't intervened so suddenly. The lie protected him from rejection, or at least that's what I desperately told myself for years. Last year, my son turned 14 and started working on a school project about family history. He wanted to find newspaper articles about his father's fatal accident, wanted to see old photos, read actual obituaries, connect with relatives on his dad's side of the family. I tried redirecting his research, but he was absolutely determined to learn everything. He searched online for hours and found nothing at all. No accident reports matching my story, no obituaries, no death records matching the name and date I'd given him. He found a Facebook profile instead. His father, very much alive and thriving, married with 2 other children, posting vacation photos and happy birthday messages to kids who got the involved dad my son thought was buried in a cemetery across town. He confronted me that same night with the profile pulled up on his phone screen. His hands were shaking uncontrollably and tears were streaming down his face. Why did you lie to me about everything? I told him absolutely everything. The sudden abandonment, the explicit threats, the fear and poverty and desperate attempt to protect him from knowing his own father chose to walk away without looking back. I told him I was completely wrong and that I was genuinely sorry and that I should have found a better way to handle it. He didn't speak to me for 3 straight weeks after that. Just went to school, came home, and immediately locked himself in his room. I could hear him crying sometimes through the door, but every time I knocked, he told me to go away and leave him alone. When he finally emerged, he had questions I wasn't prepared to answer. Did his father actually know about him existing? Yes, from the very beginning. Did he ever ask about him over the years? No, not even once. Did he pay anything at all to help raise him? Not a single dollar ever. Had I ever tried reaching out to him? Once, when our son was 5 and desperately needed surgery. His father responded coldly that he had a new family now and didn't want to confuse things by acknowledging the past. My son processed all of this information with a maturity that absolutely broke my heart. He asked if he could try contacting his father directly himself. I said that was entirely his choice to make, not mine to control. He wrote a careful email introducing himself, attached a recent photo, asked simple questions about family medical history, and whether maybe someday they could meet in person. His father never responded with a single word. 3 months later, my son discovered his father had blocked him on absolutely everything. Didn't send any reply. Just saw his abandoned firstborn son reaching out and decided to pretend he didn't exist all over again. That rejection nearly destroyed my son in ways my protective lie never could have. He finally understood exactly why I'd invented a dead hero instead of explaining a living coward. He told me last week that he completely forgives me for lying all those years. Said he finally understands I was trying to protect him from exactly the pain he ended up feeling anyway. He says he'd rather know the full truth now, even though it hurts, than keep visiting a fake grave forever. My son has decided he doesn't need a father who doesn't want him. He has me. He has my parents who absolutely adore him. He has coaches and teachers and friends who show up consistently. Next Father's Day, we're not visiting that stranger's grave anymore. We're going fishing instead.